to Live Parkinson's, Live an Exceptional Life. I'm your host, Chris Custenbotter, and I've been living an exceptional life with Parkinson's for the past 14 years. The mission of this podcast is to help as many people as possible living with Parkinson's to lead a great quality of life. Now, today's episode is Conquering Parkinson's Pain, Practical Tips and Strategies. Did you know that 80% of people with Parkinson's experience chronic pain? That's 8 out of 10 people living with constant nagging discomfort. Imagine the toll that takes on your daily life, your mood, and your overall well-being. But what if there was a way to turn that tide around? In this episode, we're diving deep into the strategies and solutions that can help you conquer Parkinson's pain and reclaim your life. Okay, raise your hand if you're someone with Parkinson's who has pain. I have my hand in the air. I wanted to discuss this topic because it's so prevalent in people living with Parkinson's, and I'm no different from anyone else. And if I can get some strategies or tips for overcoming pain with Parkinson's, then count me in. Before we dive in, I wanted to give you an overview of what we'll be covering. First, we'll examine the 4 types of pain associated with Parkinson's, which will lead us into the potential causes of Parkinson's pain and how pain can impact our quality of life. Then we'll explore the different strategies for managing pain, looking at 4 different strategies: medical intervention, non-pharmacological approaches, lifestyle modifications, and mind-body techniques. Finally, we'll round it out by discussing how to overcome challenges and find support. So if you're ready to put pain on the sidelines and not let it derail your quality of life, then let's dive in to conquering Parkinson's pain with practical tips and strategies. So, how prevalent is pain with Parkinson's? Take a guess at how many people living with Parkinson's experience pain. Is it A, 25%, B, 50%, C, 10%, or D, 80%? If you guessed D, 80%, you're correct. According to the Parkinson's Foundation in their article, Pain in Parkinson's Disease, chronic pain is twice as common among people with PD as it is in people without it. The article notes that 80% of people with PD report experiencing pain, and many say it's their most troubling non-motor symptom. In the study Pain in Parkinson's Disease, a review of the literature, the researchers state that pain is observed in 30 to 50% of PD patients. However, the incidence can increase to 68 to 85% when all types of pain are taken into account. They also note that pain can appear at any time during the disease and can also be prevalent before diagnosis. So as you can see, pain is a significant problem in people with PD, and that it's going to have a detrimental impact on their quality of life. Now, just to give you a personal example, I often experience shoulder pain as my main source of pain, and that's followed closely by foot pain, which I experience from time to time. Now, I experience shoulder pain daily, and which I'm guessing is due in part to the many years of football that I played and from Parkinson's. In fact, I recently had 2 cortisone shots in my right shoulder, one in my AC joint and one in my rotator cuff. Plus, I went through 4 weeks of physical therapy to help with movement, to improve my range of motion, and reduce pain. Sometimes, I, like many others, experience pain for unexplainable reasons. Now that we see that pain is one of the most troubling non-motor symptoms affecting people's quality of life with Parkinson's and is experienced by a majority of PD patients, let's turn our attention to understanding pain in Parkinson's. And let's start out by looking at the different types of pain associated with Parkinson's. In their article, Pain with Parkinson's Disease by the Parkinson's Foundation, they say when a person feels pain, nerves in the skin, joints, and organs alert the brain to the location of an injury. They note that the researchers have found that in early PD, there are already changes in the way the body detects and regulates pain. They note that PD pain tends to affect the side of the body where motor symptoms started. So, for example, if you started with a tremor in your left hand, you're more likely to develop pain in the left shoulder, wrist, or fingers. Okay, now that we have a good background on the prevalence of pain in Parkinson's disease, let's turn our attention to understanding the different types of pain associated with Parkinson's disease. And let's start off with the most common type of pain in Parkinson's, musculoskeletal pain. And that's caused by muscle stiffness, joint problems, and changes in posture. Now, according to the Parkinson's Foundation in their article, Pain and Parkinson's Disease, musculoskeletal pain is experienced by up to 75% of people with PD. And musculoskeletal pain is related to rigidity, decreased movement, and arthritis. Now, some common symptoms of musculoskeletal pain include muscle cramps, tightness in the neck, spine, and arms, and your muscles may feel stiff or achy. The article notes that joint pain, especially in one shoulder, is common. And one of the issues that you need to watch out for if you have shoulder pain with Parkinson's is frozen shoulder. And frozen shoulder is also known as adhesive capsulitis. Now, that doesn't sound like something I want to get. So, what are the symptoms? And what are some of the things I should look for? Well, that's a great question. Now, since Parkinson's is one of the risk factors for frozen shoulder, here's what to look for. Number one, pain and stiffness in the shoulder. Your shoulder is going to become painful and stiff, and that causes you a lot of times to limit your range of motion. And then the more you limit your range of motion, the tighter the capsules get, and it really makes it difficult to move your shoulder later on. Progression. The symptoms usually start slowly and worsen over time, often taking years to resolve. So frozen shoulder, a lot of times if you don't use it on a regular basis, you slowly start to lose that range of motion. And then night pain, and that's where the pain can become the most intense, and that's when it's going to interrupt your sleep. Okay, Chris, that's great that I know the symptoms now and what to look for, but what causes frozen shoulder in the first place? Well, frozen shoulder typically results from inflammation and tightening of the capsule around the shoulder joint. Treating frozen shoulder usually involves medications, typically pain relievers like ibuprofen, and sometimes corticosteroid injections to reduce inflammation. Physical therapy, where you work at range of motion exercises to maintain mobility, are going to help you make sure that you can continue to move your shoulder and are able to do a lot of the household chores and do some of the activities that you like to do. All right, I want to give you a quick story here on shoulder pain and frozen shoulder. Now, I mentioned earlier that I've had shoulder pain, but I've experienced it for about the last 20 years, and I'm 61 now. Now, playing football and with Parkinson's, and while I've always been able to manage the pain, I started having issues with my shoulder mobility in the past 6 or 7 years. Now, I have a lot of difficulty raising my arms from the side, and if you ask me to reach behind my back and interlock my fingers, well, that's just not going to happen. Now, my right shoulder is worse than my left, but both are troublesome. Now, I've had 2 different rounds of corticosteroid shots in my right shoulder, and I recently spent, as I mentioned earlier, doing 4 weeks of physical therapy to help improve my mobility and range of motion. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you here. The physical therapy was very helpful and very beneficial in helping me with my shoulder flexibility, my range of motion, and it also helped reduce the pain. Now I'm able to move my shoulders in different directions than I was before. But I will tell you that stretching and range of motion exercises can be painful while you're doing them. The physical therapists were great, knowing how much to push you at each session and to help you improve your shoulder mobility. After 4 weeks of doing range of motion exercises at therapy sessions at both my home and at the facility with a physical therapist, my flexibility and range of motion are 100% better, and my range of motion scores return to the acceptable range. Now, I'm telling you this story because if you're experiencing pain in your shoulder and you're limiting the movement because of the pain, it can lead to problems like frozen shoulder. So it's important for you to let your healthcare professional know if you're experiencing shoulder pain that is affecting your quality of life and limiting what you do. Let them know that, hey, I can't lift my arms very far. I have trouble sleeping because of the pain, and they'll be able to send you they'll give you medications, and they'll send you for physical therapy that it's really going to help. So they're going to develop a treatment plan, and that's going to help you manage your shoulder pain. Now, I also wanted to touch on one of the other symptoms of musculoskeletal pain that many of us living with PD experience, and that's muscle cramps. Yes, I'm talking about those enjoyable muscle cramps and spasms that we often get in the middle of the night. Or you can get them during the day as well, but typically I experience most of my muscle cramps at night. And yes, they like to let us know if you're sleeping, hey, you look like you're sleeping pretty soundly over there and not paying attention to us. So as a group of muscles, I want to give you a little reminder that we're here and we're going to cramp up on you. Now, I often get muscle cramps in my calves or my hamstrings during the night. And one of the, I don't want to say it's a benefit, but at least one of the things I can do with cramps in my calves is I can move my foot lift my foot towards my shin so that my toes are flexing up towards my shin, and that's going to stretch my calf out, and that helps to alleviate the cramp and the pain. Now, the hamstring is going to be a little bit harder to stretch and is often more painful, and for me, it takes longer to resolve. So if you're like me and you get muscle cramps, talk to your healthcare professional about it, and they can give you guidance on how to minimize getting cramps. Okay, let's move on to the next type of pain, which is dystonic pain. Are you like me and get painful curling of your foot, toes, or hands? If you raise your hand, then you've experienced dystonia pain, which is a painful muscle spasm in the areas I just described. Now, up to 50% of people with PD experience dystonic pain at some stage of the disease, according to the Parkinson's Foundation. They stated that foot dystonia is one of the most common sources of dystonia pain in early PD. Now, in their article, Pain in Parkinson's, they note that severe painful spasms can also occur in the neck, face, or throat muscles. They say that dystonia may occur spontaneously or may be triggered by certain movements, but it is often experienced in the early morning and may also be related to fluctuations in your PD medications. I wanted to share another personal story of my experience with dystonia to give you a little bit of a perspective on what dystonia is and what it's like. Now, before I get started on that, I'm starting to notice a trend here that I seem to have experienced many of the pain issues, and I don't know whether I'm lucky or just I drew the short straw, but I digress. Now, I participate in 2 group fitness classes to help me with my balance and flexibility. One's called Soul Fusion, which is a mix of yoga, cardio, strength training, and balance. And then Bar, which is a mix of yoga, Pilates, balance, and strength. Now, a number of times we were doing exercises where we were working on leg strength and balance, and then we were asked to flex our toes and then point our toes. Now, for some reason, every time I point my toes, I would get a painful muscle cramp in my foot, particularly in the arch of my foot, which caused it to curl and arch. Now, most of the time I was able to massage the muscle and the arching and the pain would subside fairly quickly. However, one day I had dystonia after pointing my toe, and my foot immediately curled and I had pain and muscle tightness. I spent 15 or 20 minutes massaging my foot until the pain and the spasm started to go away, and I was able to put my shoes on and walk it out and stretch out the arch and the muscle. Now, did this incident cause me to quit taking these classes? No, but I'm also cognizant about flexing my toes by pointing my foot. Now, I've experienced this at home as well, and it's something I'm aware of. So if you experience dystonia, talk to your doctor, and they can make recommendations for helping you manage your dystonia. Now, have you ever experienced dystonia? I'd love to hear your stories on how you manage if you have dystonia. Now, moving on to our third type of pain, which is neuropathic pain. Now, this definitely doesn't sound good, so what is it? Well, the Parkinson's Foundation notes that it's also called radicular pain. RADICULAR, radicular pain. Neuropathic pain is caused when a nerve is crushed or inflamed. Now, according to data, 50 to 30% of people with PD experience neuropathic pain. So what are the symptoms and what does neuropathic pain feel like? Symptoms include sharp, electric, or tingling pain or coolness or numbness. Now, a common example of neuropathic pain is sciatica, lower back pain that extends down one leg. Now, I've known several people who have had sciatica, and it made it difficult for them to sit or stand for an extended period of time. So they would often find it very uncomfortable they couldn't go out to dinner, or they had trouble moving sometimes because the pain was so bad. Now, also in terms of neuropathic pain, people with PD may also experience peripheral neuropathy, which is an injury to the nerve endings that can lead to numbness in the toes or fingertips. Now, I know I personally experience some tingling and numbness from time to time in my fingers and toes, which I guess would fall under neuropathic pain. And then typically people talk about peripheral neuropathy for people that are diabetic, because a lot of times the disease starts to damage the nerve endings. All right, let's move on to our fourth and final type of pain in Parkinson's, and that's central pain. Now, according to the Parkinson's Foundation, central pain affects about 10% of people with Parkinson's at some point in their disease. Now, people experiencing central pain often have trouble describing their symptoms. However, according to the Parkinson's article, symptoms of central pain can include constant burning sensations, abdominal pain, reflux, shortness of breath, or feeling flushed. Painful sensations around the mouth are also common. Now, I personally have not experienced central pain, but it can have a significant impact on a person's quality of life. All right, now that we know the symptoms and types of pain in Parkinson's, musculoskeletal, dystonia or dystonic pain, neuropathic pain, and central pain, let's turn our attention now to the potential causes of pain in Parkinson's. According to the study, An Overview of Pain in Parkinson's Disease, published in Clinical Parkinsonism and Related Disorders, the researchers divided causes or pain associations with the type of pain. So, starting with the musculoskeletal pain, the researchers said that patients with PD might display thoracic kyphosis, which is the hunchback that you typically see with people with osteoporosis, but you also see that hunched over look with people with Parkinson's. And then trunk mobility, which can lead to impingement syndrome. And that's where your nerve is being pinched when moving the trunk or an appendage, and it causes capsulitis. Now, these disorders cause inflammation of the bursa, which are small fluid-filled sacs that lie near the joints and act as a cushion between your muscles, ligaments, and your bones. Shoulder pain and reduced movement are also typical signs. Now, when I talked a little while ago about physical therapy on my shoulder, they told me I had impingement because my shoulder blade was moving faster than the other parts of my shoulder when I raised my arm, and it caused impingement of the nerve, and that's what was causing the pain. So working on range of motion issues or exercises really helped. Now, they relate shoulder pain in the article to frozen shoulder. The study also noted that over 50% of patients with PD report lower back pain, and it's often classified as a chronic pain. They relate the back pain to muscular imbalances due to having movement disorders like Parkinson's and due to skeletal degeneration. Now, you're thinking skeletal degeneration, what does that mean? Well, a lot of times people with osteoporosis may have their vertebrae start to rush down on itself. And that's, you see people that, well, I used to be 5'10", now I'm only 5'7". It's because that's one of the reasons for that. So skeletal degeneration is another reason for that. Now, in terms of dystonic pain or dystonia, the study notes that painful dystonia is approximately found in 1/3 of patients with PD that receive long-term levodopa treatments. These dystonia may be related to the long-term use of levodopa. Now, moving on to neuropathic pain, which is often associated with nerve damage and which can occur through changes in both your posture, if you have dystonia, or compression of nerves. Peripheral neuropathy, which occurs when nerves outside the brain and spine become compressed, according to the article Peripheral Neuropathy by the Yale Medicine. The author says that may happen when a person experiences trauma that damages the nerves or just prolonged pressure on a nerve or nerves due to posture or positioning. So as the Parkinson's progresses, if your posture is changing, it can have an effect on the nerves, putting pressure on the nerves and cause pain as well. So it's important to work on exercises to maintain good posture. Make sure you're stretching out your chest muscles and doing some flexibility exercises to stay flexible so that hopefully we're not causing impingement and doing some damage to the nerves. Now, let's talk about pain's impact on quality of life for people living with Parkinson's. And let's start with pain's impact on our daily activities. One of the things that it affects is it reduces our mobility. Pain can limit the range of motion and make everyday tasks like dressing, bathing, and even cooking more difficult. Fatigue is another daily activity that's affected by chronic pain, which can lead to increased fatigue, making it more challenging for you to complete your daily activities. And a lot of times, if you have chronic pain, you may not be sleeping as well, and that leads to fatigue and excessive daytime sleepiness the next day. Sleep disturbances, by disrupting sleep patterns, that can lead to, again, excessive daytime drowsiness, which can affect a person's mood and well-being. Now, I'm sure I'm like most of you. When you don't get enough sleep, you can become agitated or frustrated very easily, and you also may have trouble with your memory and thinking. I know I do. Let's look at pain's impact on our mood. Depression. Chronic pain is often linked to depression, as it can lead to feelings of hopelessness and helplessness. So a lot of times people, when they have chronic pain, they just feel like, oh, this is never going to end. I don't know what to do, and they become depressed and often become isolated. And then pain can cause anxiety, believe it or not, due to people worrying how pain can affect their life. So if you have constant or chronic pain and you sit and worry about, oh, how long is this pain going to last? I'm not going to be able to do these things. Pretty soon you become anxious, and then you have to deal with anxiety issues. And then irritability. Pain can make individuals more irritable and short-tempered. I know that most people, if they're experiencing a lot of pain, especially severe pain, they're usually not in a good mood. So that's one of the side effects that it can have on your mood as well. And pain can have a dramatic effect on a person's quality of life, because it can lead someone to limit their activities and affect their mood. So someone that might have been the happy-go-lucky person now seems to be irritable, frustrated, and angry because of their pain, and therefore they limit the activities that they participate in. So it's important that if you're experiencing those types of pain, that you let your doctor know so that they can develop a treatment plan to help you, so that you don't become socially isolated and you continue to do the activities that you enjoy. All right, I wanted to share a story with you to kind of tie all this together. And it's a story about Andy. Andy had always been an active man, and his life revolved around, he loved going for morning jogs. He loved woodworking. Spent a lot of time, making furniture for friends and family. And on the weekends, he loved to hang out with his friends. But after being diagnosed with Parkinson's, Andy started to experience musculoskeletal and neuropathic pain. And that became more constant, and it started to change everything in his life, because he was having chronic pain. And then it seemed to spread across his entire body. So it was causing more and more challenges to do a lot of the daily activities that he loved to do. And Andy's world began to shrink. He stopped jogging because of the pain. He gave up his woodworking and let his tools sit, and he avoided going to social gatherings because of the pain. And Andy became depressed. His once busy days were now filled with endless cycles of pain and solitude. So again, he started to become anxious as well, because he would sit and think about the pain, and he pretty much isolated himself because of his pain. Then one day, at his doctor's urging, Andy attended a support group for people with Parkinson's. And that's where Andy met someone who shared his struggle with pain and isolation. And her name was Karen. And Karen told Andy about a comprehensive pain management program she had joined. And it included physical therapy, medication adjustments, and mindfulness practices. She found pain relief that had changed her life and thought Andy would benefit too. Now, Andy was kind of excited and encouraged by Karen's story, so he decided to register for the program. The physical therapist taught Andy gentle exercises to strengthen his muscles and improve his flexibility. The neurologist adjusted his medication, which helped him find the right balance in managing his symptoms. Andy also learned mindfulness techniques that helped him cope with the pain and reduce his stress. The progress was slow at first, but Andy began to notice small changes. The pain, while still present, became more manageable. He began walking again and gradually started extending his walks, and he also decided he was going to pick up his tools and start doing woodworking again. And then finally, Andy decided it was time to reconnect with his friends, and he called his friends, who were more than willing to get together with Andy and reunite and do the things that they used to do on the weekends. Now, Andy's journey wasn't always easy. There were still some bad days. But with the help of Andy's healthcare team And the new strategies that Andy learned from his class, it helped him leave his pain behind and helped him regain his independence. Pain no longer controlled Andy's life. His mood brightened and he was back to doing the things he enjoyed. Now, I hope Andy's story gives you a sense of how pain, Parkinson's, can have a major impact on someone's quality of life. We've discussed the types of pain with Parkinson's, their causes, and their impact on the quality of life. Let's turn our attention now to strategies for managing pain. Let's start with medical interventions. Now, I'm going to start with some available medications and treatments that are commonly used to treat pain with Parkinson's, and this is based on my research. It's very important to note that this is for informational purposes only. If you experience pain from Parkinson's, please contact your healthcare professional, and they can design a specific treatment plan that addresses your specific needs for health and treating your pain. And again, it's very important that this is information that is for informational purposes only. Your doctor's going to be the expert, and it's important that you see them if you have pain. So let's just briefly go over some pain medications for Parkinson's and how they target the different sources of pain. Now, some common medications include non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So these are often called NSAIDs, and they include ibuprofen and diclofenac, and they're often used to treat musculoskeletal pain. Opioids and opioid-like medications such as oxycodone, morphine, tramadol, and codeine are often used to treat chronic or long-term pain. Anticonvulsants such as gabapentin, pregabalin, carbamazepine, and tricyclic antidepressants can be used to treat chronic pain as well. Muscle relaxants such as botulism toxin, also known as Botox, and deep brain stimulation can help with dystonia. Other medications that may help PD-related pain include sulfonamide, some of the cannabinoids, and COMT inhibitors, and also dopaminergic agents. Now, these medications were based on research from several studies and articles, which I reference in the podcast description. And it's important, again, if you're experiencing pain, please talk to your doctor, and they'll develop a treatment plan that is right for you. Now, the Parkinson's Foundation article, Pain and Parkinson's Disease, makes an important point that I feel is worth noting. They say to manage your pain with Parkinson's, you want to build a team that includes a PD doctor, a nurse, physical therapist, occupational therapist, pain management specialist, and in some cases, an orthopedic specialist. And I can't agree with more with their assessment. Now, when I was experiencing significant shoulder pain with Parkinson's, I saw my PD doctor, my primary care doctor, who then referred me to physical and occupational therapy, and I also saw an orthopedic doctor. The team definitely helped me address my shoulder pain and regain much of my range of motion that I had lost. All right, now that we've explored medical interventions, let's look at some of the non-pharmacological approaches. Non-pharmacological approaches or interventions for pain associated with Parkinson's include a variety of treatments that aren't necessarily improved through medications. Some examples include, you guessed it, exercise. Oh, that dreaded word. But yes, exercise can reduce pain perception through increased activity and the release of neurotransmitters, those feel-good chemicals. Some exercises that may help include stretching, endurance training, muscle activation, and relaxation. So that would be someone tensing your muscle, relaxing your muscle, tensing your muscle, relaxing your muscle. That's muscle activation and relaxation. Weight training, balance training, and dancing is another one, as well as mind and body exercises like yoga, tai chi, and qigong. Massage from a certified massage therapist, where they knead, rub, tap, and stroke the body's soft tissues, and that helps to relieve stress and pain and may also help people relax. Now, I get a massage every couple months and highly recommend them. They do help with pain and stiffness that you may be experiencing. Now, just as another example, I had a huge knot in my muscle that was right next to my shoulder blade, and after 2 therapy sessions with massage, it really helped to break up that knot, and my back felt so much better. So that's just a personal anecdote. The next is acupuncture. Now, I know you're probably thinking, no, thank you. I'm not being stuck with a bunch of needles. But to give you my personal experience, I was having some facial pain and the doctor recommended acupuncture. Now, I agreed to give it a try. I found it very relaxing and non-painful. They play relaxing music, and the needles they use are very thin. So I didn't really notice that they were being inserted into my skin, honestly. So if you're experiencing pain and you want to try a different approach, I highly recommend looking into acupuncture, because I think at least I benefited from it, and I know a number of other people that have seen benefits from it as well. And then finally, in terms of non-pharmacological approaches, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which I discussed in a previous podcast on anxiety, is a program that can help with mental health and your mood and help regulate your emotions as well. Now, I highly recommend giving it a try. It was very beneficial to my quality of life when I was experiencing significant anxiety and panic attacks. So if you're interested, it's a way to change your thinking and a way to approach how you look at things in a different manner. So if you're at all interested, please contact your doctor and inquire about cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, some other non-pharmacological therapies to consider include hydrotherapy or water therapy, music therapy, and movement therapies. Now, some additional strategies for improving pain with Parkinson's include lifestyle modifications, including, here it is again, exercise, a healthy diet, and stress management. Now, it's important to exercise to help you with your strength, your flexibility, and your balance. And a healthy diet high in fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats, as well as fiber, can play a big role in a healthy lifestyle. Now, finally, mind and body techniques. And these would include meditation, mindfulness, which is staying in the present moment and being mindful of what's going on around you, and then relaxation can all be beneficial in helping to alleviate pain. Now, I've done all three: meditation, mindfulness, and relaxation, and they do help reduce stress and anxiety, as well as pain. So if you're having pain or chronic pain, look into one of these mind-body techniques. They may be really beneficial for you. Now, before we move into our last segment, I want to share an offer from audible.com. Now, if you're not familiar with audible.com, it's your one-stop source for audio entertainment. They offer an incredible selection of audiobooks across every genre, from bestsellers to new releases, celebrity memoirs, motivation, wellness, business, and more. Audible also includes thousands of podcasts, from popular favorites to exclusive new series. As an Audible member, you can choose one title per month to keep from the entire catalog, including bestsellers and new releases. And you can stream as many books as you want during the month as well. Now, the Audible app makes it easy to listen to Audible anytime, anywhere, whether you're traveling, working out, cooking dinner, or just going for a walk. New members can try Audible free for 30 days and receive a free audiobook. Now, two of the audiobooks that I recommend are Happiness of Pursuit by Davis Finney and 10 Breakthrough Therapies for Parkinson's Disease by Dr. Michael Oken. Now, to take advantage of the free 30-day trial and free audiobook, visit www.audibletrial.com/liveparkinsons.com. That's www.audibletrial.com/liveparkinsons.com. And I'll put the link in the podcast description. Now, for complete transparency, if you sign up for the free 30-day trial from Audible, Audible pays me a small commission, which I use to support this podcast. So if you decide to sign up for the free trial, I thank you for supporting this podcast. Now, let's move into our final segment on pain with Parkinson's and look at overcoming challenges and finding support. Leading it off with coping mechanisms. And let's begin with physical coping mechanisms. How does that sound? Now, these include, here it is again, regular exercise. While it might seem counterintuitive, gentle exercises like walking, swimming, or Tai Chi can really help you improve your flexibility, strength, and reduce pain. Physical therapy. A physical therapist can provide tailored exercises and techniques to manage pain and improve your mobility. I highly recommend going to physical therapy if you're having pain. They've done wonders for me. Try heat and cold therapy. Applying heat and cold packs to sore muscles can provide temporary relief, and then finally make ergonomic adjustments, modifying your equipment with ergonomic aids that can reduce strain and discomfort. Some examples of ergonomic equipment would include weighted utensils or bigger handled items for better grip, and other ways so that you're maintaining your posture. All right, now let's look at some of the mental and emotional coping mechanisms. These include stress management techniques like meditation, deep breathing, and yoga. Now, which can help you manage your stress. Use mindfulness and relaxation by focusing on the present moment, and practice relaxation techniques which can reduce pain perception. Learn some pain management techniques like progressive muscle relaxation or guided imagery. They can really help you manage your pain. Some people call it visualization, but guided imagery was where someone else can talk you through and you're picturing being free from pain. And then finally, support groups can help you connect with others who understand your experience and can provide emotional support and practical advice. Finally, in terms of lifestyle modifications, let's make sure to get adequate sleep to help you manage your pain and improve your overall well-being. And pace your activities to avoid overexertion and break down tasks into smaller steps. I know that's one of the problems that I have. I tend to overdo it, and then I usually pay for it later. So I know I'm a slow learner, but if we can pace your activities and avoid overexertion, that's really going to help. Finally, be sure to join forums and support networks to learn and share your journey with pain with others. Now, I started a discussion board on my website, liveparkinsons.com, and that'd be a great place to start in a friendly environment and a great place to share your story and learn from others as well. Now, living with Parkinson's and managing the often debilitating pain that comes with it is undoubtedly a challenge. But remember, you're not alone. Millions of people worldwide are on this journey with you. By understanding the different types of pain, exploring various coping mechanisms, and seeking professional guidance, you can take significant steps toward improving your quality of life. Remember, every individual's experience with Parkinson's is unique. What works for one person might not work for another. So it's essential to find what works best for you through trial and error, patience, and open communication with your healthcare provider. I encourage you to reach out to support groups, connect with other people living with Parkinson's, and explore online resources. Sharing experiences and learning from others can be invaluable. And one of the things it does is it makes you feel that you're not alone. Now, here's your call to action. Consult your healthcare provider. If you experience pain, don't hesitate to discuss it with your doctor. There are treatments and therapies that are available that can help. Explore pain management options. Research different pain management strategies and find what works best for you. And then join a support group. Connect with others who understand your challenges and can offer support. And then finally, continue learning. Stay informed about the latest research and treatment advancements. Now, by taking proactive steps to manage pain, you can reclaim your life and enjoy a better quality of life with Parkinson's. Remember, you're stronger than you think. Now, before I close out this podcast, I'd request that you visit liveparkinsons.com and sign up for the free monthly newsletter. It's full of information to help you live a great quality of life with Parkinson's. Each month has a specific spotlight topic, but there's information in there on new research, current medications, some success stories, all that there to help you live a better quality life with Parkinson's. In addition, there's other free tools like a free Parkinson's medication and symptom tracker, as well as balance exercise that you can do at home. And finally, there's a one-stop online resource there that you can use as well, in addition to the articles that I've written. And please, if you will, join in on the discussion board and ask questions and join the community. We'd love to have you. Now, that's the end of this episode, and I thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a spectacular day, and I hope to see you all on a future podcast. Thanks again.